We got breaking news, Saints fans, as Kellen Moore has been officially hired as the new head coach for the New Orleans Saints. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Friendly reminder to subscribe right now because as I'm speaking, as we're filming this video, as I'm talking to you, my crew and my guys are getting ready to go live on Saints Now. We're going to celebrate it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it down with full graphics. We're going to have a discussion. You talking to me talking to you. It's going to be a lot of fun. So please subscribe and tune into that here in just a few minutes. But really quick, I just want to talk about this because I think that this is an excellent hire. And ultimately, I think that the New Orleans Saints made a great decision. And obviously, they missed out on guys like Aaron Glenn. They missed out on guys like Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, Joe Brady, another one, for example, Mike McCarthy. I mean, all of these guys never considered the Saints or pulled their names out of the hat. Cliff Kingsbury, another name to mention. So it kind of felt like it was either Darren Rizzi, Mike Kafka, Anthony Weaver, or Kellen Moore at the end of it. And to be totally honest, like, I don't hate any of those options. Like, Mike Kafka's my least favorite one, but we're not here to talk about those guys. We're here to talk about the new head coach, which is Kellen Moore. And, you know, I think one thing that we can all be excited about is that he's going to bring a lot of offensive creativity. And he is a smart offensive mind. And he's a guy that I think can relate to players really well. And I think that he can be able to communicate and he can be able to cater to the team's strengths. And I think a big reason for that is the experience that he has as a quarterback when he was an elite quarterback at Boise State. Kicked Derek Carr's butt when they played against each other when he was at Fresno State. Either way, my point being, like, I think Kellen Moore is actually going to be a much, much better hire than a lot of us are originally kind of looking at. And, you know, I go and look at what the Philadelphia Eagles did this year, and I look at what they accomplished. The Super Bowl champions. They did it. They were one of the best offenses in the league. They had one of the best defenses in the league. I know that the defense was a big, big reason for a lot of their playoff success, and I know the defense was a big, big reason for a lot of the Super Bowl success. But don't get it twisted. Kellen Moore's offense was elite all year. They were 7th in total offense. They were 2nd in rushing yards and 6th in scoring. Now, obviously, the passing yards were not there this year. They were actually 31st in passing. But Jalen Hurts didn't need to throw the ball out that much because Saquon Barkley was such a freak. However, when Jalen Hurts was asked to throw the ball, they're pretty good. And on top of that, the passing situation for the Eagles, they have really good players like an A.J. Brown, like Devontae Smith, like Dallas Goedert. So they had all of the tools in order to have a successful offense. However, the New Orleans Saints, they're missing a lot of those things. That doesn't mean that the Saints can't recreate a little bit of that. Like, it's not going to happen overnight, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take a couple of years before the New Orleans Saints can truly be, like, on the right side of things, I guess you could say. I don't know. Like, my point being, I just don't think that the Saints are going to be competing for Super Bowl next year. I don't think that the New Orleans Saints, out of nowhere, are going to be this 10, 11, 12-win team. There's a lot of holes on the roster. There's a lot of problems on that roster. But Kellen Moore is a good place to start. And Kellen Moore is a good guy to build this whole thing around. So if we can have some patience and we can give him a little bit of time and we can give him a roster that's actually halfway decent, that doesn't have a bunch of aging veterans that are underperforming, and a bunch of young players who are very talented but are dealing with injuries, if we can get some of that going, I think Kellen Moore is set up for a really good position of success, and I'm going to tell you why here in just a moment. But really quick, I got to tell y'all today about Prize Picks, an awesome sponsor we have, and they are making today's show possible. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this basketball season. Which players are going to go off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions and your sports knowledge into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Now, they don't just have basketball. They also have professional football. You can do season projections for next year. They also have esports. They have darts, for the love of God. I mean, you could put money down on pretty much anything. So if you're a degenerate like I am and you want to win some real money because you know ball just like I do, get started with PrizePicks. They put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season, and it's also the best way to get sports action in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, Georgia, and Florida. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS when you download the PrizePicks app to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. All that information is in the comments and description of this video. Shout out to PrizePicks. Run your game. So now let's talk about why the New Orleans Saints are actually set up for success and why Kellen Moore can actually turn something into a really good situation here. Now, the NFC South, there's no question about it. Bad division. Very, very bad division. Not a lot of talent there. Who's going to win it next year? You have a second-year player in Michael Penix who showed some good things for the record, but it's the Falcons. Can't trust them. Raheem Morris did not really inspire me. Zach Robinson was not that inspiring whatsoever. The Bucks, I mean, they're a team, yeah, they swept the Saints last year, but they're a team that the Saints could beat. They're a team, quite frankly, that is the recipients of being in the right place and being the best team in a shitty situation. So my point being, I just think that Kellen Moore's here, like, he's set up for success. And I think that Kellen Moore can be a really, really good head coach. And I think when it comes to the quarterback conversation, there is a real conversation to be had about Derek Carr and Spencer Rattler. Like, Kellen Moore has no ties to Derek Carr. I could see why Derek Carr could return with Kellen Moore. I mean, there's a million reasons why. It makes sense. But then there's also a million reasons why it makes sense to move on. And it makes sense to just start this rebuild now. And I do think when it comes to Kellen Moore, I think he's going to look to add to the quarterback room. And by add, I mean addition by subtraction by addition. So I think we could see Derek Carr get cut. I think he could be a post-June 1 cut. I think the Saints will still draft a quarterback, or they'll sign a quarterback. And I think Spencer Rattler will ultimately be the starter. Like, I just don't see a world where you run with this exact same quarterback room. Whether Jake Haener, whether Spencer Rattler, whether Derek Carr, one of those three is the odd man out. And you're going to go and add somebody. Whether it's Jameis Winston, Jacoby Brissett, Jackson Dart, somebody in the draft, Kyle McCord, I don't care. I just think the quarterback room is going to look different. I mean, hell, Justin Fields may be an option. Reports around the Steelers are that they could see Russell Wilson returning to Pittsburgh, which means Justin Fields is a free agent and he needs a team to go play for. So I think when it comes down to us as Saints fans, we need to talk realistically about this team. And we need to be prepared for it not to be beautiful tomorrow. It's going to take a year or two for things to turn around. But if Kellen Moore can somehow manage to bring in Vic Fangio, and if somehow he can manage to bring in a Brandon Staley or a Doug Nussmeier as the offensive coordinator, that would be awesome. I would love to see Doug Nussmeier be the OC. I'd love to see Vic Fangio come back to the Dome. That would be awesome. But more realistically, Brandon Staley, I think, is the defensive coordinator. Ultimately, I'm excited about this new era of Saints football. I think you should be too. And I think that we all just have a really, really good new outlook for this team. It's new, it's fresh, it's young, it's completely different than what we've had over the past few years. It's completely closing the book on the Drew Brees and Sean Payton era. We are in the new next generation of Saints football, and I think we should all be excited. Saints fans, it's going to be a great couple of seasons. Be patient. It's going to be much better. It can't get much worse than a 7-game losing streak with Dennis Allen, right? Who Dat Nation. I'll see you guys live here in just a few minutes. Y'all stay golden.